Regarding local law for parking, does anybody have any comment they'd like to submit at this time? And then you close it with a motion. Or you close the public hearing with a motion.
Do I have to open it with a motion?
Not necessarily.
Okay, Jim, I think we're ready to get started if you are.
Good.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to June Seneca Falls Town Board meeting. Our first thing is a public hearing to take public comment on proposed law, local number 3, dealing with parking in 3 specific areas. At this time, I will take any public comment. The public was provided with a call-in number, and they could make public comment. Unfortunately, we're still unable to meet live with the public, so we're doing the best I can through technology. But if there's anybody in the public who would like to make a comment, please do so now and identify yourself and your address. I'll take that nobody from the public is making comment. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Before we close the public hearing, I would just like to confirm with the town clerk that I received comments from the town's highway superintendent, the town's chief of police, the Seneca County Sheriff, and the Seneca County Attorney. And all of those have been forwarded to the town clerk for entry into the record of this proceeding. I just want to confirm with the town clerk that those were all received. Very good. Very good, thank you.
Okay, Pat, so noted. And so from here on out, the provisions of this article will be enforced by the town highway superintendent, the town code enforcer officer, and any police officer. Okay, great. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
Well, you want to close the public hearing. I think that's what you want to close it. You want to close it? Then close it.
I don't want to adjourn it.
Don't adjourn it, we'd have to do it again.
Thank you,
Next
thank you.
time.
How about I want to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. So carried. Great. Town Clerk Greer, take roll call, please.
Okay. Mike Farrar,
Present.
Steve Churchill. Present by phone. Dave Doyle is absent.
Nope, he's here. Dave, you present, right?
Oh, he's here. Okay. Doug Avery.
Present.
Don Dyson. Here. We have a quorum.
This time I'd like to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time I'd like to have a moment of silence for the George Floyd family, and also a moment of silence for the community of Seneca Falls and the communities across the United States to keep teaching our children and our grandchildren about social justice. Thank you. At this time, it's my privilege to read a proclamation declaring June 18th, 2020, on the occasion of Dr. Judy Hyper's 80th birthday. Those of you who don't know, well, I'll read the proclamation, you'll know a great deal about one of Seneca Falls' own. Whereas it's important to recognize those whose contributions to the community improve the quality of life for all residents of the town of Seneca Falls, and where among us live those who distinguished professional careers and personal achievements serve the advancement of our great state and nation, it is right and fitting to honor that contribution to society. Whereas Seneca Falls resident Dr. Judy Piper, an infrared astronomer and astrophysicist at two acclaimed universities, Cornell University and the University of Rochester, celebrates her 80th birthday on June 18, 2020. Whereas Judy was born June 18, 1940 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the daughter of Earl Lester Alexander Bancroft and Agnes K. Kathleen McGowan Bancroft. Judy demonstrated scholarly aptitude at a young age, and while excelling in academics, also achieved local fame at the age of 16 when she was named Junior Miss Homemaker for the Province of Ontario. Whereas Judy graduated from the University of Toronto, where she studied astronomy. Judy then moved to the Finger Lakes region to begin graduate studies at Cornell University in Ithaca. While teaching science classes at the high school and college level, Judy began her graduate work in then new field of infrared and sub-millimeter astronomy, becoming the first woman to pursue research into ultra-sensitive light detection of celestial bodies. Whereas Judy received her PhD from Cornell University in 1971 and then joined the faculty of the Physics and Astronomy Department at the University of Rochester, where she became the founder of a group of observational infrared astronomers. She has continued research while building important partnerships between academic and industrial research groups, as well as teaching students for nearly 50 years. Whereas Judy's professional achievements are significant, including capturing the first telescopic infrared pictures of starburst galaxies. She was chosen to work on NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope, designing its infrared detector arrays, which allowed NASA to study the distant universe, capturing evidence of forming stars, black holes, and other deep space phenomena about which humanity could previously only speculate. Whereas Judy is a distinguished member of numerous astronomical organizations and the author of more than 200 scientific articles and papers, she is deeply respected by others in her profession and has chaired or served on a number of national committees that determine astrophysics funding for NASA and the National Science Foundation. Her professional recognition includes receiving the Susan B. Anthony Lifetime Achievement Award in 2002, and in 2007, Dr. Judith Piper was inducted into the Seneca Falls Landmark Organization, which honors significant achievements of women in American history, the National Women's Hall of Fame. In 2009, Discover magazine stated that Dr. Judy Piper is considered by many to be the mother of infrared astronomy. And in 2018, an official citation was published by the Minor Planet Center naming asteroid 306128 Piper in her honor. Whereas while teaching at Cornell University, Judy met Robert Bob Eugene Piper, an engineer and world traveler, and two embarked on a lifelong journey together and were married in 1965. Bob gave Judy 4 stepchildren, Timothy, Vicki, Wendy Hunter, and Neil Piper, whom she loves very much. Both avid lake enthusiasts, Judy and Bob became shepherds to Hugo Lake, where they took residence in 1971. Together they built a 40-foot trimarine watercraft they named Cygnus after the constellation and fully enjoyed the Finger Lakes experience. Judy became a board member of the Hugo Lake Watershed, an organization which protects the lake and its tributaries as a critical natural resource. Whereas given their professional achievements and uniquely sought after knowledge in their specialized field, Judy and Bob could have chosen anywhere to live, but our community residents share in the good fortune that they chose to build their life together in Seneca Falls. And whereas Judy's continued support of her hometown community extends to numerous organizations that she supports with personal dedication, including serving as the first inductee of the National Women's Hall of Fame to be named to its board of directors, chairing numerous committees for that organization. Twice co-chairing its hallmark biennial event, the induction ceremony, and now serving as Emerita. Judy also is a former officer and current board member of the Seneca Museum of Waterways and Industry, home to the Seneca Falls Visitor Center, a focal point for tourism in the community, where for several years she has coordinated the organization's annual Gingerbread House program, much to the delight of hundreds of children and their families throughout the area. Judy's a member of the countless other community organizations, such as the Red Tent Book Club, Ladies Who Lunch, and Lake to Woman, and continues to generously contribute to many not-for-profit organizations showing heartfelt support by personally attending nearly all public events hosted in Seneca Falls. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Seneca Falls hereby proclaims June 18th, 2020 to be Dr. Judy Pfeiffer Day in honor of celebration of her 80th birthday, a significant milestone for a treasured member of the community. And it further resolved that its proclamation be transmitted to Dr. Judy Pfeiffer with warmest wishes from the town board, the town clerk, staff, and indeed the entire community, bestowing the honor upon her and recorded in the official history of the town of Seneca Falls.
This is what the beginning, right?
This is the official proclamation that's been signed with the seal of the town of Seneca Falls and my signature that will be presenting this to Judy on her birthday. And at this time, I would like a motion from the town board to recognize June 18th, 2020 as her day. So move. Second? Doug made the motion, seconded by Don. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations. I had a lot of help putting this together. I'm not going to mention any names, but a lot of my friends at MRV helped put this all together, and I want to thank those people for putting this together for us. So thank you. Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Okay. Next up, I need a motion to approve the regular monthly meetings for minutes from May 5th, 2020.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry. Also need a motion to approve the minutes for the virtual special meeting on May 14th, 2020.
Your turn.
Okay, Doug made a motion and Don is going to be doing a lot of seconding or vice versa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. Okay. This time we'll motion and to accept reports of the following different areas, and our department chair people, or our department heads are here on phone. So guys, if there's any questions anybody has for our folks, make sure you ask them. And guys, if you have anything to add to your report, please don't hesitate. I will make a motion to accept the dog control officer report for this month.
Second.
Moved, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion?
Aye.
Great.
That's a big one.
That's a big one, huh?
Yeah, good report. We got a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of building permits, lots.
Okay. All right. Have a motion to accept the zoning officer's monthly report for May.
Second.
Discussion? With no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So carried. A motion to accept the highway superintendent's report for the month of May. So moved, second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Mr. Peterson, anything to add?
No, I'm good on my end, Mike.
Okay. With no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
So carried. I make a motion to accept the town assessor's report for the month of May. Got a second, please?
Second.
Second. Discussion. Debbie, I know you're on. Anything you want to add?
No, just got Thursday night coming up, and I have permission to use the courtroom. I approve everything with me.
You do? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That's so carried. I make a motion to accept the Seneca Falls Water Sewer Department report for the month of May. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Don. Discussion. Mr. Tulo, anything to add to your report?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? With no further discussion, can I have a motion, or can, I'm sorry, yep.
That's fine, there's been no action other than things on the agenda.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Am I doing something wrong?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just stop me whenever I'm doing something wrong, okay?
I will.
All right, thank you. Can we make a motion to accept the town justices report for the month of May?
So we'll
Seconded by Mike Farrar, moved, motion by Doug. Any discussion?
Just what the scuffle I heard today, the court is closed down through July at this point.
It was supposed to come back up in July, now they've changed it through July, so sometime in August now. Which, again, if everybody remembers, we had a resignation of one of our justices, Sean Laquatara, and then we were just about ready to start doing interviews to fill the vacancy until November for the special election, and then the virus hit, and the training for our potential candidate was, that's been canceled. There's been no rescheduling for that, and now the courts are not opening up to August. The 7th Judicial Court has appointed somebody to cover, and that person has come in and set up an account and so forth. So I think something you can think about. I'm not quite sure what the advantage was to be going through interviews for such a short period of time and appoint somebody and then try to get them trained and then have the election in November soon after. So, you know, think about that between now and July, but I just don't see what the advantage is at this point. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, I make a motion to accept, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't approve that, did we? Okay. All in favor of the court's report, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried. I make a motion that we accept the Town of Seneca Falls Police Department annual or monthly report for May. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Discussion. Chief Peenstra, anything to add to yours?
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to add, Supervisor, is I'd like to remind the public that during this pandemic, we have our prescription drug drop-off available in the lobby, and that is open during the week, business hours between 8 and 4:30, or after hours. All you need to do is hit the call box on the outside, meet an officer outside, and they'll let you in to properly dispose of your prescription drug.
Is that any time or just a certain time?
Is that any time, Chief? Or is there going to be a window to do it?
The office hours are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30, and then after hours, all they need to do is hit the button on the outside of the building, and an officer will meet them at the door, and they can dispose of their prescription medication at any time, 24/7.
Great, thank you so much. So hopefully, I don't know, Jim, are we picking up this from off the phone, you think? Yep. We are, okay, great. Okay. I'd like to add at this time, again, my appreciation to the police department and the command, Chief Pinstra, Lieutenant Snyder. Probably not a lot of people know, but over the weekend with the social unrest going on throughout the country, and now becoming internationally, it's a local thing too. And a lot of time was spent this weekend working with area law enforcement between the fire department, Seneca Falls Fire Department, and Seneca County Sheriff's Department, and state police. A lot of monitoring, a lot of chatter was picked up that potential demonstrations and protests were going to happen locally in Seneca Falls and Outlet Mall and surrounding areas. So a lot of time went in this weekend ensuring that the people of Seneca Falls remain safe, and I know they continue to do that as this stuff still continues. So Chief Keenstra, Lieutenant Snyder, thank you for your leadership in that area. So with no further discussion, all in favor of accepting the police department report, say aye, please.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. This time I make a motion to accept Barton and Ludice's engineering report for the month of May. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second. Peter has highlighted quite a few areas. Peter is here, so Peter, why don't you fill us in a little bit?
Yeah, there's a reason I came. So, the big thing we have here is for the sewer rehab project. We're almost close. The contract date is actually June 15th for that's the current termination. We have put together a change order. So we've provided, this is change order 6. We provided 5 change orders in the past. They've all been essentially zero cost change orders. So the project value for the overall authorized budget for the project is $3.005 million. That includes B&L's engineering, design, and contract administration fee. WD Malone, the fee for WD Malone. It includes bond counsel, it includes Bernard Donigan as well. The intent is with that $3.005 million, that is subject to the 25% WIA grant, and it's also subject to the 0% hardship financing. So as part of our project, we did a substantial amount of additional investigation work of the sewers. We recently, over a change order, no cost change order we issued, we did about 14,000 feet of additional sewer inspection. And once we got that video, we've been reviewing that video. Last month, we made a recommendation to reline some of those sewers. We've looked at some additional lines as well. So we're making a recommendation to reline some of those additional sewer lines. We also have a recommendation for additional manholes. And then the third part of that is repaving Johnson Street. The reason this is a different one is this actually now is our recommendation is a contract increase. So the current contract is $2.29 million. It's an $80,000 net change order. The additional work we're actually looking for is on the order of about $219,000 additional. But based on the contract value, there's items in that of 35 bid items. There's work that won't be done under the project. So we can shift that money to kind of reduce that cost. Really what we're looking for is that $3.005 million final project tally that maximizes that 25% WIA grant. The $80,000 brings us shy of that. I think Bernard Donigan kind of did their last estimate. That worked out to there's about $140,000 available contingencies for the project. So our recommendation is on a change order is $80,000. That'll provide additional sewer lining, provide additional manhole rehabilitation. And the third part is on Johnson Street where we had a large storm sewer constructed. One of our added bid items was to repave that section of Johnson Street between the railroad tracks on the east and then Maple Johnson. Right now as it is, it'll be, without that, it'll be essentially like a road cut and it'll be a restored piece of pavement. This will essentially get the entire road milled and repaved. So that's the third part of that. So that's the change order is here, and that's the reason that I'm bringing it up is we're trying to final throws of the project to kind of bring everything together. And the spring came and there was some tight deadline, so I just want to make sure I could present this face to face, answer any questions on that end. So really we're looking for that, this change order will kind of get us closer to the project completion date. And so this is, I think, a 27-page change order with documents. So the bottom line is it's $80,000 net. When we looked at some of the video, there are some pipes in there that were not part of the original project that we are recommending. We really think need to be lined. There's a certain section on Fall Street that looks to be in pretty rough shape, and we want to definitely get that lined. The contractor is available. They can do the work starting, I think, in 2 weeks from now, pending the authorization of this.
We're going to have to accept we have to make a motion to accept the change order tonight, right? Which is not on the agenda, correct?
It's not, no, it's not an agenda item, so that's why I want to talk about it separately.
Yeah.
So if that's what, something you want to do, yeah, they would be subject to a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the necessary documents.
So add this to the end of the agenda.
Yeah, so I can do that under new business, right?
Sure, yes.
Okay, and then we can discuss that
Okay.
under new business, all right?
Several other items on the report. I don't know if anything warrants discussion at this point. We had a meeting on the Bayard Street culvert. We had a special board meeting presented on that alternative. I think ultimately for us to kind of move forward, I provided some conceptual schedule dates in my report for what we call alternative 2. Ultimately, we're looking for direction from the board on the final.
Yeah. And we have that under new business for discussion
Okay,
tonight.
perfect, okay.
So, yeah. Okay.
Actually, can I just an observation, and it goes back to that special board meeting. Is the fire department still detouring around that?
I believe so.
Because I sat at the
I don't know
intersection
for
the other
sure.
day, and they did not.
They did not?
Okay, yeah, and that I don't know.
It wasn't their biggest truck, but it was, but
Really?
I think it was it may have been, and I may have misspoke, I believe it was at least the largest truck that they had there. When that first came up, I know Chief Larson was here discussing that, and I think.
I know that was the plan initially.
Right. I can check with him. I just assumed that they were, but
I don't know that
have
it
to check with
changes
him.
anything, but.
Because that truck was probably pushing the limits, right? We should,
Well, it's a 6-ton limit, but that 6-ton limit is true throughout the town.
yeah.
So that truck is, I think it exceeds 6 tons, so it's.
Okay. Any other discussion? With no further discussion, can all in favor of the engineer report, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. I make a motion to accept MRV grant writing services report for the month of May. Have a second, please. Okay. Matt Horn and Emily Palamas are both online. Guys, anything to add to your report?
Just wanted to call attention to the fact we submitted 2 grants on behalf of the police department earlier this week, and we're teed up awaiting the consolidated funding application guidance from the state. But we've got our application strategy in place, which will be done when the tax comes out. There is one item later in the meeting on the clean air, for the clean energy community.
Yes, we have a resolution ready to pass to get that started, so yes, okay. Emily, anything on your end?
No, I just want to say it was great working with the police department, getting these 2 grants submitted, and we're looking forward to working with other department heads on the Clean Energy Communities grant.
Okay. I'm also going to start looking into having MRV take a look at our zoning codes. I'd like to form a committee of some of our zoning, a couple of people on our zoning board, and maybe 1 or 2 of our town board members, and with MRV's direction, to bring our zoning codes into the 21st century. A lot of these codes are obsolete, they overlap, and so forth. So we're going to start that process here pretty soon, as I reach out to the zoning board, looking for a couple of volunteers there, type of thing. Okay. Okay, with no further discussion, all in favor of accepting the grant writing report for the month, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one opposed? It's carried. We're going to have another report tonight. I'm going to have the Seneca Falls Development Committee, Joelle Verdi Carson is on the line, I hope, and Joelle's going to give us an update about that group committee. Joelle, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Welcome.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. Just a couple quick things. regarding number one, the DRI. One thing that we just want to let everyone know is that we are in touch with our state representative. The money is earmarked for Seneca Falls DRI, and due to New York being on pause, we are in a bit of a holding pattern because we do need to have that final local planning committee meeting with public comment. And we are still hoping for that to be in person. So we are in a bit of a holding pattern with that, but nonetheless, that is still moving forward. The other thing that we'd like to call your attention to, we still have a couple of new businesses that have come to Seneca Falls, including WT Brews out of Baldwinsville, which moved into the former Canal Side Tavern behind the Young Agency. And we have a spa going into the former Minders Academy Library and ARC building. So lots of good things still happening, even though we're in a bit of a holding pattern. And now Greg Sellers would just like to fill you in on the COVID reopening and farmers market.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Greg, go ahead.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. Are you right?
Yep, you are.
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right. So with the farmers market, we will be opening on time this year, Tuesday, June 16th will be opening day, and it will run every Tuesday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Most likely through mid-October. Just depends on how long stuff is coming out of the ground and gluing on trees. We'll have plenty of vendors this year: fresh fruit, vegetables, the baked goods, coffee, honey, Martin Smokehouse will be there with barbecue again. We'll have ice cream through Triple Starship. We'll still be able to fully accept EBT cards, SNAP benefits, WIC coupons. So all that's still in full force as farmers markets are deemed essential. And we will have new guidelines in place due to COVID-19 where there'll be a little bit more spacing between vendors, signage to encourage distancing, and there'll be sanitizer stations at each booth. Kind of leads into a website that the SFDC just finished. We've been creating a website that will make it easier for Seneca Falls businesses to get the information they need to comply with the state's reopening guidelines. As a lot of people know, our region is currently in phase 2 of the reopening protocol, but some don't fully understand what that means, what they need to do, how we go about reopening. So we're welcoming business owners to visit www.reopensenecafalls.com, where they can get quick and easy shortcuts to the information they'll need when reopening. We listed reopening guidelines for every business category. So whether it's restaurant, salon, retail shop, they'll be able to shortcut their way to the information they need from the state. And then we have some coronavirus resources, county information, and the safety plan template they'll need when reopening. So hopefully that'll kind of shortcut it and make it easier for businesses to get back in business here in Seneca Falls.
Okay, Greg, thank you so much. And I've looked at this, and if you didn't get that, anybody didn't hear it, it's reopensenecafalls.com. Greg put together a very good platform for assistance for Seneca Falls businesses to reopen as we go through the different phases of the governor's plan. So I encourage our residents and business owners to take a look at that, because there's some really good stuff there. Okay, and Joelle and Greg will be part of our regular reporting throughout the month, so we welcome them to our meeting. Hopefully it won't be like this for very much longer. We can see your smiling faces. Okay, any other committees to report on?
I put together a quick summary of what's going on with the landfill, so, I don't know.
Mike, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I forgot to mention that looks like the Falls Highway is now open.
Oh. Okay, thanks, Jim. And I was going to cover that a little bit when we get to, but anyway, yes, the Seneca Falls Town Highway Department's open for dumping like it used to be.
What
And-
about, I'm sorry,
Pardon me?
what about getting dumpsters? Not yet.
Not yet. So something we're gonna talk about is opening up the offices again. We can't do dumpsters until we get the offices opened up. So we're gonna talk about that under new business.
As of this afternoon, the website, the town website still lists the dumping area as closed, so that.
The town website?
Oh.
Okay. So Jim, Jim Peterson, could you send Finger Lakes One, Jim Centercropi, an email for me and set that back up, please? That's open.
Yes, I can do that, Mike.
I was gonna put it in the paper too.
Okay. Can you send him a reminder? Put it in the web- All right, forget it, Jim. I'm just going to say we get it updated on the website, but it's being taken care of, so, okay. Okay, thank you.
The thing I just put in your hands, we've got two groups working on the landfill permit issue, the Waste Management Advisory Committee, and then the committee that Mike appointed with Steve Churchill, Pat Morrell, and myself. And so this is what we're each doing something slightly different. If you look at the last paragraph, I'm saying, and it is just me saying, that it probably will be the August meeting before we have something concrete to present. Mike at a meeting we just came from earlier today would like us to move that up. We'll see, particularly the Waste Management Advisory Committee. We only have one meeting but to schedule between now and the July town board meeting. So they're not moving that fast. So we'll see about the timeline, but you can sort of see what the two groups are working on, and that was what I felt was important at this point. Thank you.
Okay. Any other committees to report on? All right, with that, we can move on to communications. Any communications, town clerk, Greer, that we need to be concerned with?
I don't think so.
Okay. I do have a couple of communications that I'd like to share. Unfortunately, the first one is I received notification from Mosaic, which is the former Seneca Cuga ARC. They informed me that unfortunately, due to a lot of different circumstances, effective back in March, 23 positions were eliminated from that organization. And these 23 people are some of our residents. The vast majority of them are town residents. So with sadness, I bring that to you. I also have a couple of letters that people who sent them would like me to enter them into communications. The first reads, to the town board, I'm writing in response to the negativity concerning the Seneca Meadows landfill permit. Tarjac Incorporated is closer to the landfill than most businesses in Seneca Falls. The odor has all been removed. Let's be real, it's a landfill and everyone in Seneca Falls has been aware of this for 50 plus years. If I remember correctly, Bernadette and the Lutzes grew up in this town and they too were well aware of the landfill. They, along with many other businesses, proceeded to keep facilities and continue to add and expand. My wife and I started Tarjac and kept it in Seneca County. We grew and employed upwards to 90 employees. Even with all the negativity towards Seneca Meadows, we still grew and we are still standing strong. To continue our legacy after our retirement, we approached 3 of the managers at Tarjac to take over our business. 3 managers have taken over Tarjac Incorporated. The new company is Tarjac H2O. These 3 managers are Tara Larson, our daughter, who has been in the business for 19 years, Eric Elias, who has been in our business for 20 years, and Ed Babbitt, who has been in the business for 7 years. To make this change possible, SMI has agreed to sublease the building to continue this business. Kyle and Jeff from SMI made this possible. Tarjac H2O currently employs 25 people and intends to increase this number. I look around at businesses who have developed and grew knowing fully well that there is a landfill. We have Del Lago, Petro, the Outlet Mall, the Dodge dealership, Facillo, Walmart, Hampton Inn, Microtel, Holiday Inn, Waterloo Container, and yes, Bernadette. Tourism is here and seems to be as strong as ever. Everywhere you look, there's a new winery or brewery opening up. Look at the SMI host payments have done for this town. The library, the rec center, town hall, and without the host payments, Seneca Falls will be crippled and will never recover. good business and common sense would be to negotiate the host agreement for the good of SMI and the good of Seneca Falls. And that's signed sincerely, Larry Salerno. And one more to Town of Seneca Falls, Seneca Meadows permit application, excuse me. On November 1st, 2019, Tarjac Incorporated was purchased by Tarjac H2O LLC. This is made up of 3 long-term employees of Tarjac, Eric Elias, Ed Babbitt, and Tara Lawson. We would like to say a few words on behalf of Seneca Meadows, who has been not only a great neighbor over this time, but also a great landlord since the property was purchased. Thanks to Seneca Meadows, we are afforded an opportunity to keep a business that has been around for 25 plus years running. In turn, this has kept 25 jobs of people who are currently employing with the hopes of being able to grow the business, employing more now that new ownership has taken over. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible. As a business who works directly across from the landfill, we appreciate all their efforts and all that they have given back to the community. Not only as the local businesses, but also as town residents, we have enjoyed what Seneca Meadows has done for us. The ability to utilize the recreational center and library as well as other amenities, I am sure that we are unaware that have contributed to. We just want to go on record as a business in support of the renewal, as they have done so much for us already. And that's signed Tarjac H2O LLC, Eric Elias, President, Tara Larson, Vice President, and Ed Babbitt, General Manager. Okay, any other, make a motion that we accept the communications for the month of May? Second by Don. Discussion?
Yeah, just a question. Normally, we've heard that we're going to receive the landfill first quarter check.
I'm sorry.
We did.
Okay, all right. Well, normally, it's been in the past, it was shown up here,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah, we did. Okay. And I was going to talk about that when we get to, but anyway. So, no further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, old business. 10 Fall Street. We've had a couple of RFPs on that. We've had a couple of offers. There's been an extension of one of the RFPs to June 1st to provide the Cohen Group an opportunity to possibly purchase 2 Fall Street, and that has not worked out. There has been some other developers interested. I think the bottom line is that most people feel that the best possible opportunity for development of that property is to combine it with 2 Fall Street and 10 Fall Street. Unfortunately, we do not own 2 Fall Street, so we are limited as to what we can do there. But I'd like to see if we could do another RFP for 10 Fall Street and get that going under the direction of Town Attorney Morrell, and put it out there again, and hopefully some of the developers who are looking to purchase 2 Fall Street can put in one of their proposals as well. So, any thoughts, discussion?
Is Joelle still on?
Joelle is still here, I think. Joelle, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
She can respond to this kind of better than I.
Joelle, I know you have some people contacting you and so forth, so some legitimate developers, I would say, wouldn't you say, on your end?
Yeah, yeah. We have 3 now.
Okay. And certainly the position of Seneca Falls Development Committee is to try to somehow work out where we can develop this property in conjunction with 2 Fall Street. I think that would, you would agree with that, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And Mike, can I also just,
Could I just say though, if an RFP were to go out, it's something that we would prefer to not go out until the pandemic kind of slows down a bit. We're hearing that things need to settle down before you're gonna get anything different as far as the proposal goes to an RFP. Maybe end of summer or this fall.
oh, well, in the immediate sense, the last time we did this, there was a proposal made, there was a proposal accepted with certain contingencies. And I just want to include here on the record that those contingencies have since expired, just through the passage of time, and that, that proposal is now rejected,
Correct.
okay? Yeah.
So, Pat, what would be the procedure? We would have to make a motion to do another RFP for 10 Paul Street?
Well, it's a kind of a question of timing. Like if you want to, you know, if we're being advised that it's likely to be more successful next month or in 2 months, we might want to just table it. You know, with the understanding that there is no active proposal in the sense that the prior award has since failed their own contingencies, and that, so the town's not obligated to anything at this
Right.
time.
Or we could do an RFP and do an RFP and
We could,
close it at September 1st or something like that?
we could advertise it and leave it open for an extended, you know, if you want to say till, you know, September 1, something like that.
Gerard, do you think September 1 is a workable date?
I can't say, it really has to do with the pandemic and the moving of the other property, which our understanding is that will not happen until the pandemic is over.
Well, I'm not quite sure if the pandemic's ever going to be over, so, but we are working our way through the phases. So phase 4 will be on schedule for June 26th in that neighborhood. And we've been able to get through phase 1 and 2. So I don't, you know, if we're talking about complete wipe out of the pandemic, that's not going to happen. So I don't think it's unrealistic to say phase 4, let's just say end of June. That gives people July and August to put things together if they're serious. So I mean, you know, I'm not opposed to going to, you know, I'm not opposed to going to October 1st, but I really don't want to keep this going on. I want to get out of the real estate business pretty bad here. So would you think October 1st would be fair?
I do.
Okay.
Myself, Dave, myself, I like to go into the year. I think it's not going that long.
I'm sorry, Dave?
He said take it to
I
the
said
end.
myself, I like to see it go to the end of the year. I think this pandemic is gonna end up that long.
Well, I agree. You know, I agree. So I don't know what, again, as I said, I don't think the pandemic's ever going to go, I mean, it's always going to be an issue. I mean, but, you know, people are going to start doing,
Let's say 2 years down, well, let's say 2 years down the road, that's what you're saying, that's probably go to the end of the year anyway.
well, I know, but we can't put this off indefinitely. I don't think, I mean, people who are developers, if they're really interested, they're going to start doing things, you know what I'm saying? And money is, you know, money is at a good price these days, so I don't think the world's going to just stop doing things. So, again, do we need a motion, Pat?
Is it worth tabling for one more month?
I really don't want to table it. I
Go
just,
on?
I mean, again, what's the advantage of tabling it? I mean, if we're going to extend it out to October 1st, what's the advantage of tabling it?
So you're considering doing an RFP now with an end date of October 1st? I thought what we were looking for was to extend the existing RFP to the end of the year in order to give the Cohens more time. But if we're going to get new bidders, then we have to do the RFP. I'll defer to Joel. I think October 1st is reasonable. Things are going to start to move. Things have to start to move in a business sense long before we find, you know, a true end to this.
And the Cohen group sent me a letter, and I said, we're going to make a decision tonight, and, you know, you're more than welcome to submit another
Right.
proposal. Like
Yeah,
I reached out to everybody else.
So. All right.
So that should be the subject of a motion to say, because we're authorizing advertising, and you should agree on have the end date as a
Okay, well, I'll make the motion that we put out a new RFP for 10 Fall Street under the direction of Town Attorney Morrell to present or prepare the RFP. And part of that motion is to extend the time to October 1st, 2020.
Second.
Second by Doug. Discussion? With no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so carried. Pat, any update on 60 State Street?
No, just that I have prepared the contract and forwarded over to the successful, the proposal that was accepted. And I just had a brief exchange with the acknowledged receipt. They were going to have it reviewed by their attorney, but I haven't, I'll have to circle back around and check in on them. I haven't heard anything else, either accepting the proposed contract or rejecting it. So, so I'll check back in with them. So as far as I know, that's still active.
Does that have a deadline on it of any kind? Is it?
Not necessarily. They weren't seeking additional time. They were ready to go, but I'll have to check back in and see where we are.
This all happened right as
Exactly.
this broke, so it's, I would assume it's been a tough time to.
And that project's in the DRI as well.
Right, they're held up in the DRI, right.
Okay. Under old business, adaptive procurement policy. So we have this, we've been working with Doug and myself and Frank Pazuka on developing a new policy. So we were able to put something together and looked it over, and Town Attorney Morrell was involved as well. So I think we came up with a workable policy that meets all the requirements, and I can't thank Frank enough for all the time and effort that he's put in this, but we met a few times, and so we finally have a policy. So I would like to make a motion that we accept the Town of Seneca Falls, New York 2020 procurement policy. A second? Discussion.
Just to reiterate Mike's thanks to Frank, he's been an amazing resource for this. This is far more than we could have put together in that short period, drawing on his expertise and his experiences throughout his career. This has been great. And it's not just the policies, but also the procedures that go with it. So we really are ready with an entire package. Thanks to Frank.
And with that, if we approve this tonight, we will, we have the procedures with it, and we'll be meeting with the department people Thursday, I believe, to kind of go over the procurement policy and some of the steps moving forward, so we're all on the same page, so that we're always in compliance. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, all in favor of adopting the 2020 procurement policy, please say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried. I believe the SMI license to operate the landfill is on the table. I think I don't want to belabor this any more than we've belabored it. So, Doug, why don't you, again, kind of like your committee report, but how it's all connected, would you for me, please?
Okay. We're working on it on two fronts. Steve, Pat, and I are working on what has turned into an exploration of what substances the landfill is required to monitor for and measure for, similar to if you've seen in the news where there have Ontario County landfill has been cited a couple of times recently by the DEC. And so we're looking to see if Seneca Meadows is being, is expected by the DEC to monitor for those same substances. And so that's what we're working on. We've had some help from Peter and a couple of other people from Bartonville and Judas. We probably will bring the DEC into the conversation at some point and try to come up with a recommendation as to whether we're going to try to insist that the Seneca Meadows test for these, a complete menu of substances. We don't know that they are. And then at the same time, the initial complaint we had about the odor monitoring system, where a resident calls the odor hotline at the landfill and they send someone out to determine whether it smells or not. And that's a system that's been in place since the very beginning. Has not worked, to my knowledge, at least since 2015, 2016, and complaints about that system have been growing, and so that's why we're looking at whether we want to try to force them to do something that's a little more effective, a little more fair, a little more transparent. And so the Waste Management Committee Advisory Committee is working on that. But that's a group that only meets once a month at this point, so we may have to speed that process up. And my thought, I think Steve agrees, is that we really don't do anything until we can do all of it. So that we've got a proposal from both areas to bring to the town board and have something that the town board can then vote to endorse as a step forward or not.
Okay, so with that, we'll just leave the permit on the table. There's no need to make a motion to take it off the table. I just want to make sure everyone understands that Seneca Meadows did make their Q1 payment for 2020. It was a little under budget, what's expected, but that's again directly connected to the beginning of the pandemic. I would suspect Q2 is going to be a much more significant as far as a reduction. So we'll just have to wait and see that. But I want to thank Seneca Meadows for making that payment. Okay, approved purchase agreement with Dataprise for firewall software and remote server backup. I'd like to make a motion to purchase SonicWall software firewall SSL VPN license for a 1-year contract for $355.79. And also SonicWall Advanced Getaway Security Suite 1-year service, 24/7 exchange, electronic and physical service for $1,516.44. Can I have a second for that motion, please?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Again, after our May meeting, there was some confusion, and at that point, I talked to our network analysts and IT people, and they are absolutely 100% informing us that we need those two things to protect our data and to take care of what's happening. So both are 1-year contracts. They intend to start looking at how they can start taking over some of this, but as far as right now, they are 100% saying we need to have this done and done quickly. So, any other discussion?
Yeah, this is Steve. I'm going to be voting against this for 2 reasons. Number one, we contracted with the county to provide these services, and there is no reason to go to Dataprise to have these done. If the county's not capable of providing these services, then I think we should look to get another IT provider. The other reason is that although the firewall software may be in line, the backup solution, I believe, is a monthly charge, not a yearly charge, and I think it's way overpriced. So I'll be voting against this.
SonicWall Advanced Gateway Security Suite, 1-year service, 24/7 exchange, electronic and physical service, 1 year, $1,516.44. Did you hear that, Steve?
Yeah, I heard it, but I read the proposed, and the one component was, I believe, monthly, so.
Well, I know you might be talking something different, but, and we're not in a shared service with the county for software. They're not providing software, so. Okay, further discussion. Okay, all in favor of making these purchases, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Opposed.
So that's carried 4-1.
Steve Churchill, no.
Mr. Churchill opposed to it.
Okay.
Okay, next up, Vince's Park discussion. We, in May, talked about closing the port. We agreed to close the pool area down for the year. We said we'd come back in June to revisit the rest of the operation. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to close Vince's Park entirely for the 2020 season. Could I have a second for that, please?
I second that.
Seconded by Don. Discussion. I met with Mr. Spina, and he's still on the line. He can talk. I just don't think it's a safe thing to do. We've had many cancellations. We have no direction. You know, bars and restaurants can open up in phase 3, limited. So you're going to be working at 50% capacity. I think the facility would have to be cleaned extensively after its use. Right now, when people use it, they're responsible to clean it. We could never expect people to go through and clean extensively what would have to be done to make it ready for the next group of people. I just think we're putting ourselves in a very bad position for the year, and that's the reason for my motion.
Mike, this is Jim.
Yes, Jim?
Should we consider, this time to be kind of a popular site, should we consider to take it through like September for now and then revisit? You know, or do you want to go through the,
No, I'm not opposed to that, Jim. I can change that motion to go through September, absolutely, yeah. And things might change drastically, and we can revisit it for the last few months of the year. Absolutely, I'm not opposed to that.
yeah, because that was the housing parties could be kind of popular, that we get the change that people might want to take the day to the opportunity to work. So I think that's a good move on.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion to amend my motion to close Vince's Park through the end of, or through September 30th, okay? Have a second for that motion? Second. All in favor of the amendment to the motion?
Aye.
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 Yeah. Anybody opposed?
I've got more.
Okay, so the motion to amend the motion is carried. So the motion we're discussing is any further discussion about closing Vince's Park until September 30th, 2020.
Can I just I guess, just to clarify things, you're talking about the facilities that are rented and
The pavilions, correct.
right? It is still a park, parkland belonging to the town. Do you envision maintaining it, the outdoor part, that's going to remain, because you still have an obligation to maintain
Absolutely,
parkland?
we're
Okay.
mowing the lawn.
I just want to make sure that
We're,
it's...
we're working on the pool. We're not gonna let the pool just lay there dormant. We've been chlorinating it, not to the levels that it would normally be, but running it and so forth. And so yeah, not letting it go away, just maintaining it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Aaron Pasalapa and Parks and Recreation for doing a lot of the stuff out there, taking care of the pump. We had a rebuilt pump that he installed and got up, and we have the old pump that we should take care of as well, but things are running and we're mowing the grass and maintaining the facility, okay?
Does it remain open and available as a green space?
No.
Okay, see, that's my concern. We're talking about like 4 different things. We're talking about the pool, which we've dealt with. Jim is talking about Christmas time, he must be talking about the building.
Correct.
Then there's the outdoor pavilions and just general uses of green space. And at this point, I'd hate to give up on the rest of the late summer, fall season available to the community as just as a green space. I understand about the facilities. It may be necessary in August to be closed, but I don't see, I'm concerned that maybe we don't need to do that, and we're taking away something that the community uses. And in this day and age, and these conditions can take advantage of.
Well, there's a lot of green space in the community. Again, it's either open or it's closed. You just can't say, go help yourself to a picnic table in a pavilion and, you know, a grill without somebody being out there and working the facility. And then cleaning the picnic tables and taking care of all that. It's either not or it is type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. Further discussion?
Yeah, I tend to agree with Doug. I mean, this is Steve. I mean, Jim, do you have any input on this? I mean, are there portions of it that we could leave available for the public use as essentially a park area? I disagree with Mr. Farrar that there are a lot of green spaces. There certainly are a lot of green spaces with a ball field, and if there are, I don't know where they are. But do you have any ideas, Jim?
Well, I will say that, I think, when we have open space like that, I think people will use those, whether we're gonna be there or not. It's hard for us to maybe especially out there, you know, to watch and see if it's used. Now, right now, the picnic tables are set underneath mostly up to a pull bar. That being said, people can pull those off and run it down and have a picnic, we wouldn't even know it. So it's a tough call. I mean, I don't like saying that, you know, we want to clean the tables and all that stuff. The same token, I don't know if we can control people using it one way or another. You know, there won't be any bathrooms open. So people might be hesitating to go out there, knowing there's no bathrooms available. So, you know what I mean? I hate to give a wishy-washy answer, but I can see both sides of the issue. Take it off. Yeah, we could, we could signage up too, saying that, you know, due to the, you know, with coronavirus, COVID-19, this is, an unusable area for business, you know, I mean, we can do something like that. I guess it's, whatever you guys feel is group is the best way to proceed.
Well, what is the state doing with the state parks and county parks? What are they doing under the guidelines?
I don't believe they've opened fully yet either, so I'm not sure what they're doing. It's, you know, part of the problem is we aren't getting much guidance from the state as to what it comes. You know, it's a difficult call because, again, we're signing things out daily, you know what I mean? And we're not saying, okay, 2 weeks you can open and this is what we'll have to do. You know, they're saying you can open tomorrow, this is what you have to do, and that leaves us in a position. So I can't answer, if I could do some research, maybe if I got one. But I'll say that.
Well, you know, perhaps what we do is, you know, we officially close it, but we put signage up that lets folks know, because, you know, to your point, they're going to use it anyway to a certain extent, and I don't think we want to police it, start arresting people if they're sitting at a picnic table. But perhaps we could put up some signage that indicates that they're essentially, you know, that it is officially closed, and that, you know, they're on their own. I mean, you know, if they want to use it, we'd expect them to clean it. I would anyways. I mean, if I went to even a public place like that and was gonna sit down at a picnic table, I'd take some disinfecting wipes with me and clean it. But, you know, perhaps we look for some sort of compromise.
We also are gonna have to deal with that little bit, kids' territory, because we do have to picnic table with kids' territory. I was over the other day, or family was fortunate sitting at a picnic table, reading and, I think, doing a class or something. But, food all, I think, free, so, you know, we are gonna have to deal with that with kids' territory as well. So, maybe we should come up with a consistent approach, and we'll, we'll find it out, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's a better approach, because people do need places to get out, and, I mean, they're going crazy, and if we can do it, that adhere to some guidelines when they come out, if they come out. And, you know, we work with people to keep the place safe, and I think we should try to do that.
You see those signs at beaches all the time, beach closed, swim at your own risk. I mean, is that legitimate? Closing the building down, I guess, I don't know how we close the pavilions down, the open air pavilions, but maybe closing those down. If we can maintain the green space for people to use if they so choose, and somehow absolve ourselves of the, you know, the maintenance requirements, the sanitization requirements, then I think we should try to go ahead.
Yeah, as long as we get the building locked, and especially the pool, you know, locked down,
Secure,
so there's no side entry to somebody to have access to the pool. You know, it's really just a very small playground, the pavilions, and the ball fields,
Right.
and very large open space. So, yeah, something to what you're describing is possible, but I just can't stress enough that everything else needs to be locked down and be very secure, especially the pool.
Yeah. Well, that has to be anyway.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Dave,
Yeah.
will we put signs up there, how they use that they're all risk?
That they're what?
Oh,
I
yes,
can
sorry.
do that, just whatever the board takes, or whatever man takes is, you know, whatever version that the sign would, protect us, you know, we definitely can get that done fairly quick.
I mean, it could be something to the effect of,
Go in there, that signs up, your own risk.
Well, I mean, you can stop people from going in there. You can, you know, we make make a public announcement that the Vince's Park is closed for this year for numerous reasons. One, and the biggest one, is health situation, and two, financial situation also plays into the picture that we're not even talking about. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we can close it down. Now, we're going to have a police car out there 24/7? Obviously not. So obviously, between Parks and Recreation being there, mowing grass, et cetera, you know, we'd have to encourage people not to be there, type of thing. But I don't know if there's a sign, Pat, is there a sign that you can put up that says, enter at your own risk, be careful of the sharks or something?
I'm just thinking that, you know, you want to, you know, use that September 30th date for the buildings, but maybe, you know, as part of that the green space would be open, you know, or as open as allowed by the executive orders under the state's, you know, COVID-19 policy.
And Jim's point's well taken too. Why aren't we doing the same thing with kids' territory?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the rec center's closed, I mean, but, the people parked in the parking lot, yeah, are they going out back in the skate park? I've seen kids in the skate park, type of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's next to impossible, but I think our, official position is it's closed, you know what I'm saying? So, but, okay, so right now we have a motion to close Vince's Park. Obviously the pool and the the facility, bathrooms and so forth until September 3rd, 30th, I'm sorry, September 30th, 2020. I think we'd have to vote on that motion, or we can add some amendments to it at this point?
Yes,
Okay.
you read one.
Why don't we, if anybody wants to add an amendment to that to keep the green space open or available, so do it now.
I think, yeah,
I'd like, this is Steve, I'd like to make a motion that we allow the green space to be open, but we develop the appropriate signage to be put up that communicates clearly to the public that, as Dave said, they're at their own risk. And then again, reiterate whatever the state policy regarding the COVID crisis is at the time as well. But because they're going to be out there anyways, I mean, I think we'd be foolish if we pretended we could close the whole place. So we may as well address it and get the signage up. But yeah, I agree with closing the pool and the main facility itself.
Okay, so you're making a motion to amend my motion, right?
Yes.
And Doug, you second that?
yes.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion to amend the main motion? Come on, Nikki, you gotta keep track of this stuff.
I know.
All in favor for approving the amendment to the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. So, we now have the motion on the floor is to close Vince's Park, the facilities, indoor facilities and the pool, obviously, until June 30th, 2020. And, I'm sorry, don't mind me, I'm sorry. September 30th, 2020, and Attorney Morel is going to develop some verbiage for signage.
Kind of a moving target.
Kind of moving target. He'll do the best he can. He'll get on Lawyer MD and take a look at that. Anyway, we'll put some type of verbiage out there that for the green space area, okay? Any further discussion on the amendment or the motion on the floor? With that,
Yeah, real quick, Mike, what about, kind of on subject, but, should we include the signage in his territory as well?
we should, yeah.
We have two poll ones there.
Yep. But don't confuse my motion now. You're really going to confuse it. So.
I know.
And it don't take much to motion. We'll do that as just a procedural thing. Absolutely. Okay. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. Seneca Falls Performing Arts Center. Any update there, Pat?
Yes, so there's, I've been in contact with the president of that group, and as of earlier today, I heard from that we had an agreement, we had a proposed agreement, some amendments, but that we were on the same page, and they were ready to move forward with the current version of the agreement. And I expect I will be getting a signed agreement from their president shortly.
Great.
So I heard from them today that
Their project, I
So let's
believe, is
move
also
forward.
DRI.
Also DRI stuff, yes.
You know, we're gonna hit a roadblock until we can get that resolved.
So, but we'll have an agreement in place that they can show the DRI people that they have a compromise of the outstanding debt on that building.
Okay, thank you. New business, approval of special events. I think we just have one. And that's for basically a senior parade for our graduating seniors. The idea would be to have a parade for the kids. They would be starting at Frank Knight School and ending up at the high school. The school district superintendent Klingerman is working with myself and Chief Peenstra on the plan, and Chief Peenstra is working on some of the details. It would be completely safely intersections held off temporarily, and the school district has some plans on what they're doing once the students meet up or get to the school. So everybody will be practicing safe practices and social distancing and so forth and so on. So I think this would be a great tribute to our seniors, and they've missed out on a great deal this year. So hopefully there's no objections to that special use permit.
Would that be on what would have been their graduation?
No, it's going to be on June 17th, I believe. Yes.
Mike, we also had the other one in there, the car show in July, I didn't have that down too.
The car show
Our
coordinator
show was already,
is asking, she just needs guidance, is it up, down?
I didn't see the one for the car show. Jim, they have a use permit in?
car show was last
The
month.
car show, you guys approved a couple weeks ago.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
this month.
If they have it, it's all set to go, yeah. Okay.
Correct, but I believe they got their insurance and everything, so I just went to see if there's gonna be a lot of ads.
Yeah,
Right, and I think that's what she's looking for, clarity from someone.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's got,
Can have it.
you know, people who were normally take part, who are asking, are you gonna have it, or are you not? From our standpoint, it's a go.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to deal with the other, okay, we'll get that word to her.
So I'm going to make a motion for special events used for senior parade. Have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Great.
All in favor, please say aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. I make a motion that we,
Mike,
yes, sir.
if you're going to be in the proposed local law for parking,
Yes.
I do have a resolution prepared, and then the documents for filing with the Department of State.
Okay.
So I got this here.
And I just need to, that's not,
That's not gonna be
you
it.
have the resolution.
No,
So,
it's
here-
in there somewhere.
I know it is, I saw it.
Yes, it's in there.
Here's a whole packet that's the resolution, and when you're done, you can hand that to the town clerk, and that will have that has the forms for filing with the Department of
Okay,
State.
good. I usually type.
Yes.
So we're gonna go back to the car show going, we'll go back.
I'm sorry, Dave, I'm not hearing you about the car show.
What are we gonna do with it?
We approved the special permit for the car show in May. So it's up, the ball's in their court. If they're having it, it's fine, okay? They would have to follow all the guidelines that any other, pandemic requirements, would have. They certainly can't have it if they can't practice social distancing or so forth and so on. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it's up to them, such a thing.
We'll let them want to do it, okay.
Okay, so I'd like to make a resolution authorizing adoption of the town board of the Town of Seneca Falls of local law number 3 of 2020. Whereas a public hearing was duly held on June 2nd, 2020 at the Seneca Falls Town Hall, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said proposed local law or any part thereof. And whereas pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8, State Environmental Quality Review Act, it has been determined that the town board, the adoption of the said proposed local law would be a type 2 action under section 617.5, section 16 of the Sequoia regulations, and is determined not to have significant impact on the environment. And whereas after due deliberation and consideration of the comments submitted by the town highway superintendent, the chief of police, the Seneca County sheriff, the Seneca County attorney, and other interested parties, the town board of the town of Seneca Falls finds it in the best interest of the town to adopt said local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Seneca Falls hereby adopts said local law number 3 entitled A Local Law to amend section 280-14 and add sections 280-27 and 280-28 of the Seneca Falls Town Code relating to the parking of motor vehicles, a copy of which is attached hereto and made part of this resolution. And it be further resolved that the town clerk is directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and the local laws of the town of Seneca Falls, and to give due notice of the adoption of said local law to the Secretary of the State of New York. And all of the paperwork is so far filed in there. Okay? Can I have a second for that resolution?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just a question on,
An email from the nation.
Email from the nation.
do we have anything, a response from the Cayuga Nation?
And an email from the nation opposing local law 3?
Yeah.
Okay. They had,
Is there one?
they had a chance to talk at the public hearing.
Did somebody get an email on it? Because I heard briefly about it.
I never got an email from the nation.
I haven't gotten anything.
No, and there's nothing there now, I can at the last minute.
Okay,
Everybody.
okay, so we got an email. I'm not sure what your point is, Dave.
No, I'm just saying that we did have an email that we were opposed to an apartment down there by
And I'm opposed to them not paying property taxes too, but that's a whole nother story, okay? Okay, so noted, we had an email. Anybody, any further discussion for local law
Well,
number 3?
Just that if there is an email sent, it should be made a part of the record of the public hearing.
Email came during the meeting?
It just, I just
Oh.
got it on the phone, it came at 3:37.
Yeah, and it looks like,
Of course, I would.
3:26 this afternoon email.
Okay, I never saw it.
I never saw it.
well, I guess we can,
Probably should be entered into the record.
Yeah, we just did that.
Okay.
Okay. We will enter it in the record. Dear Town Supervisor Farrar and council members, please see attached correspondence comments submitted on behalf of the Cayuga Nation regarding the hearing scheduled for this evening. Thank you for your attention. Lee, Elcott, so forth. So, Nikki, I'm sure you got a copy of this. You'll have to
I
enter that in.
probably do.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I think you're gonna need to forward that to the town clerk, because I didn't see your name on the list.
Oh, it was none.
Can I vote on this yet?
You
Well, I
have not voted on it.
we haven't, I have a question. Have we resolved, Jim Peterson's statement that Route 89 is a county road and he thinks the county has to act on that? Do we?
Well, 89 is a state road,
He did that.
but Bayard Street
But
is
Bayard
a
Street-
county,
Bayard
it
Street,
is a
right.
county road. And the vehicle and traffic law, it's in section 1660, in that neighborhood. That leaves it to the towns are authorized to control parking on all roads that aren't state roads, but that are within a town outside of an incorporated village. And
Okay.
so there's
All right,
no,
thank you.
no requirements of the county having, taking any necessary action in order to do that. However, we do have comments that are here from the public hearing, from the county attorney and also the sheriff
Right.
have submitted comments in favor of this action.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if
Yep.
you know, we had to wait for them to enact something
Nope.
before we could enforce that part of it. Good.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor of adopting local law number 3 of 2020, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried.
Okay. Let's see.
I have a resolution here, whereas December 2016, the town supervisor signed a 5-year contract with First Light for telephone and fiber optic service for the municipal building. And whereas December 2019, the board approved and the town supervisor signed a contract changing the provider for telephone and cable service from First Light to Spectrum Business, thereby resulting in duplicate contracts for the same service. Therefore, be it resolved that the Seneca Falls Town Board does hereby authorize a budget modification increasing A 1010.414 maintenance contracts with a transfer from A 1990.400 contingency for $9,541.42 to buy out the remainder of the First Light contract. Could I have a second for this resolution?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
Yeah, just an observation, and I may be wrong, this is recollection, but I don't recall being told at the time that there were 2 more years or whatever on First Light's contract. We were sold the idea of switching over to Spectrum without that being part of the conversation, as I recall.
Yeah, I wasn't on the board. I don't know, okay? I do know that I have both copies of the contract, so I do know that the contract with First Light does not expire until February of 2021. And basically, the town entered into 2 contracts. Why we would ever sign a 5-year contract with anybody, especially in telecommunications business, I have no idea. I'm not real happy we signed a 3-year contract with Spectrum either. Things changed quite drastically, but anyway, we did that back in 2016, under the advice of the technology consultant. We signed a contract in 2016, so unfortunately, here we are. I've discussed this with the town attorney. I'm sorry?
This is Steve. I'd like to speak a little bit. One of the reasons that I didn't sign the contract, but the town probably signed the contract with First Light, at the time Finger Lake Technology, was because they were the only provider available, and they ran cable fiber, I should say fiber, from the 3rd Ward Bear Street to the new facility in a record amount of time to the broadband connectivity to the town. Spectrum didn't have any solutions at the time. There were no other providers. First Light pulled that cable down there at their own expense. So to sign a 3 or 4 year contract with a company that goes above and beyond can't be unexpected.
It was a 5-year contract. It wasn't 3 or 4. It was 5.
What's that?
It was a 5-year contract, not a 3 or 4 contract. 5-year.
Well, it was signed in 2017.
16.
Okay.
So,
Trust me, it's a 5-year contract. Trust me.
2021, what's that?
Trust me, it's a 5-year contract. Okay.
Well, you said it terminated in 2021, so that's 4 years, but it terminated in 2022.
It was signed in 2016, Steve.
December 30th, something, December something.
Okay. And thank you for the shot at the IT company, Mike. But anyways,
What was the IT company? That wasn't a
what
shit.
would it cost us? Well, you said that the IT company that they were working with, which was Stoneboat Computing.
Oh, I didn't know it was Stoneboat Computing at the time.
Well, okay, maybe you should check before you make up the crap. But anyways, what would it cost us to cancel the Spectrum contract? And stay with First Light?
Don't know. Since there's more,
We should look into that.
well, since it's too late to look
We should
at,
look into that before we spend $10,000 for a couple of reasons. Number one, we have to spend $10,000 to get out of the First Light contract. And second of all, if we cancel the First Light contract, we'd probably be putting in an entirely new phone system, which means you're buying all new phones, and the last I knew there were about 35 of them. So it'd be a very expensive proposition to actually switch to.
we've already,
I would assume.
Steve, we already switched. Steve, we already switched. The switch has happened. And we've already been charged a cancellation fee from First Light for part of the porting of the phone lines coming into the building. So we've already paid them $1,500 of the $9,500 we owe them. The switch is on. Since there's less time on First Light contract versus Spectrum, I'm assuming that there'd be more money in Spectrum, but that ship has sailed, okay? Ship has sailed.
Well, no, it hasn't, Mike. No, it hasn't, or this wouldn't be in front of us.
The only reason,
How
Steve,
much it would cost to-
Steve, the only right reason
It would
that,
cost to cancel the
Steve, the only reason why this is in front of us is we have to approve the transfer of funds. That's the only reason it's in front of you, okay?
Okay, well, if we go to item E, what is item E?
I believe that's been taken off
That's
the
the same thing as that.
same thing, so it's just a
Same thing.
duplication of things,
It's
okay?
duplication.
So,
Well, that still doesn't answer my question. The board still has a decision that it might be able to make, if we get the information we need to make the appropriate decision. My question was, what would it cost us to cancel the Spectrum contract? We aren't too far into it. It may be nothing, because there's gonna be some big expense to convert us over to all of their services.
Steve, we are already converted over to Spectrum services. I don't know what you're talking about. The phones all work fine.
The phones have all been replaced in the building?
Not replaced, no, we're using, as you probably know, First Light brought the phone lines to the building. Then you signed a contract with Magna 5 for the phones, okay? So the phones now, we've terminated our contract with them and everything has come under Spectrum's domain, okay? So we don't have to change the phones, they all work just fine. And this is, I'm confused.
To know what it would cost to cancel the Spectrum. I mean, that's what we should have been provided with right up front in January, because there's no reason to get rid of First Light.
Do you have any idea, I mean, do you think I just walked in the door on January 1st and said all this stuff was right there for me and everything was there? I didn't find out about this until Spectrum started coming into the building and changing everything over, okay? That's when it happened, and then when I tried to terminate the First Light, I was informed that we had a 5-year contract with them that we didn't have in hand, okay? So please, don't tell me that back in January you should have had this information. And this comes under the category, listen, let me finish. This comes under the category of, that's why this town needs a town manager, okay? This is another prime example of why you need a town manager. You need somebody here running the day-to-day business of this town. Yes?
We should have that discussion, but that isn't what this is about. My question is, this is $10,500. If we can call Spectrum and say, hey, how much to terminate your service, and they say it's $1,000, then we're saving $8,000, Mike. And isn't that what it's all about?
Again, the ship has sailed, all right? Spectrum is here, all their stuff is here, the ship has sailed, so.
No, the truth is they're both there. Spectrum and Time Warner are in the building, providing broadband services.
No, Time Warner is not in the building.
Which one we want to keep?
First Light is in the building and Spectrum. Spectrum, I have terminated our services with First Light already. Done and over with. Did you want me to continue paying 2 providers for the same service?
No, but I guess we should have been aware that it was going to cost us $10,000 to terminate their contract before we terminated one.
I guess you should take that up with the board in 2019, not me.
Mike,
Yes, Dave?
Mike,
Yes, Dave?
put it this way. Pat supervisor and Pat lawyer.
I'm-
Just go through, find him the Pat lawyer, and just say, hey, wait a minute, you got a duplication there. He's the one that put it in there.
I'm not going to criticize, I'm not going to be criticizing people, okay? I'm just giving you what I inherited. This is what I inherited, okay? So we have to transfer the money, guys. We have to transfer the money to pay the bill, okay?
Well, I guess I wasn't aware that board voted to terminate First Light. I'll look back in my minutes.
No, I'll say,
On this because I'm just trying to save the taxpayers 10 grand.
I'll save you the time of going back through the minutes. There was no board motion to terminate the contract, okay? We had 2 services here, so one had to be terminated, okay? So don't waste your time going back in there. And I'm glad you're trying to save the taxpayers money. That's what it's all about. I appreciate that. But again, this is not Mike Ferrara's problem, okay? This is not my problem. This is not this current board's problem.
We should have had the discussion about which one to terminate. The board should have decided which one not to terminate, not Mike Ferraro.
Okay, I can't get you to answer an email, and you're gonna have a discussion about having which one to terminate, okay? Okay. Any without further discussion, all in favor of transferring this resolution, transferring these funds, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Oh,
Carried, 4-1. I'll make a motion to declare surplus list of IT items and, I don't know what else.
Air conditioners.
That list was here someplace.
That's the IT, this is there.
Okay, so we have,
D, Mayor's Street Culvert.
oh boy, I really don't want to go there, but we're coming up, let me do the after and I'll go back up to D, I'm sorry, I missed D. We have 5 air conditioners that were used over at 81 Barrett Street that are now sitting over in the records department. We have no use for them. Water and Sewer took one of them for one of the pump stations. I'd like to put these up on auction. Aaron Pastelacco will put them up on auction, and so we can get rid of those and declare them as surplus. Okay, and the other stuff is some IT items that's in your packet that we've now gone through and so forth and declare these as surplus as well. Okay, so can I have a second for that motion, please?
Second.
And any discussion on declaring surplus? Okay, all in favor? Please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Going up to D, Berry Street culvert options. We had a meeting with Peter, another Zoom meeting, I think it was. And we looked at the 3 options that B&L has put forth. So we really need to make a decision on what direction we're going in. I can share with you option 3 is not an option anymore. They have notified, I think, all of us, the Seneca Nick Corporation is not interested in option 3 and are not willing to provide an easement for option 3. So we have option 1 and 2. And I think of option 1 and 2, option 2 would be the best direction, but I'll let Peter speak to that. Peter?
Yeah, that's absolutely our recommendation was option 2. Honestly, when the project first came to fruition, option 2 is what we thought. We kind of identified that option 3 as an alternative. It certainly is the most constructible. Based on that email that I saw from the property owner, he indicated that he would, the issue there is we've got a culvert that has no easements. We'll need an easement for the new culvert. That email seemed to indicate that he would work with the town readily on developing, he mentioned temporary easements. The project would need a permanent drainage easement as well on that end. But in my report, I also provided kind of conceptual schedule for going forward on that option. Pretty much the answer to the question, the project would be completed in 2021. The culvert would be in place in 2021. 2022 would be final paving of Bayard Street, basically, because there'd be, by the time we got to the end of 2021, between permitting and designs and easement processes and construction, you're pushing that fall season on 2021. So Bayard Street would be cold patched and paved in early 2022. Downside is it's more money and there's really limited grant fundability with that configuration too. So
What's next? Decision on the board on what option?
So we have, currently there would be, once the decision's made, we've drafted part one of seeker, which we pretty much identify as with the environmental issues, but we can't move that forward until we actually have a specific project to advance. Once we go through that project advancement in seeker, then we go through a design phase and then permitting. Permitting for this would be canals, DEC, Army Corps of Engineers. I think that would be the three, and then obviously the process with establishing easements on the new culvert.
And is there some way you can give us an idea what the design phase was going to cost?
The design phase would include, at this point, I can follow up quickly. I'm not really in a position now, so.
No,
There's gonna be geotech, there's gonna be like other subs involved, geotech investigation, is a pretty critical piece. Typically we go through like so on that property, there would be a phase one, archaeological investigation. My concern is that we'll probably trigger some, normally we do these things and it's a very streamlined, it's called phase 1A, but given the historic nature of that property, there may be some additional work involved in that end too. So all that's relatively standard work, but I'll follow up with the board and provide a budgetary estimate on that end.
So I'd like to make a motion that we pursue option 2 for fixing the Barrett Street culvert situation. If I can get a second, then we can have a discussion. So, second by Doug. Any further discussion from what Peter just said, or any questions for Peter, or any further discussion?
Just really a commendation for Peter. I never thought I would be,
Hang on, Steve, 1 second.
I never thought I would be enthusiastic about option 3, which is off the table. But what you presented was great. I mean, as what would be an asset for the town in terms of, again, green space, I mean, that was.
We've
that was
done a few of these
something.
projects and they turn out nice.
And of course, the problem is, it's not ours, so we don't really have a choice. But you know, that would have been a nice embellishment and a nice enhancement of town.
Steve, Doug's done now.
Yeah, I would like to, I was kind of hoping to discuss this before there was actually a motion on the floor, but there's a local service provider that came to my attention that inspects, he's got an underwater drone, and he's got a legitimate business service. Typically he inspects water lines for municipalities. He's got aerial drones that he uses as well to do water towers. I reached out to him. He was very excited about the possibility of being able to put his drone down into the existing drainage tunnel and record some video for us. He can record up to 3 hours of video. We get some pictures, something that the whole board can see. Maybe then we can understand the extent of the damage before we make our final decision. You can do this at a cost of not to exceed $1,200, and can probably do it as soon as the water is deemed essentially clear. I don't think it's going to be kind of determined on the amount of flow through there. But I think it's something that we should consider and perhaps move on tonight, is to contract with him to do that investigation for us.
What do you mean when the water is clear? I'm confused.
Well, I mean, if you have a hard rainstorm, Mike, say you have 2 days of rain, the water going through there is probably not going to be very clear, and you're probably not going to be able to get a lot of good video.
Right.
So I'm saying when he could put in would be determinant upon, weather conditions like that. Right now seems to probably be a pretty good time.
Well, we have,
Is that
we
something
rely
that the board
on
is willing to consider?
Peter, I'm not willing to consider that personally. If you're asking me personally, I'm not, okay? Again, we have a town engineer that is an engineer, and,
Right, but the divers didn't go in very far, right? They didn't go in. They didn't go all the way through. This stuff could go all the way through, both ends. It can go 300 feet. It takes high resolution, 1080p. you know, before we spend $2 million, I think it might behoove us to spend $1,200 to see if we can, get a thorough examination of that culvert.
Okay.
I agree.
I can share, we do a video for that. It was not necessarily, probably similar equipment. Canals did do the investigation, so part of our assessment, when Canals did that, I think when Canals was operating under the auspices of they owned the project, they did send a, I don't know, if they had access to that, I'm not sure if it's the same equipment, but the visibility was extremely limited. I'm not sure timing wise, there's at least an hour and a half or so of video. Part of our assessment is the geotech engineer from Syracuse went over to Canals and they just sat down, they reviewed the video side by side on that end. So we did base our decision a lot on where the damage was on that end, and there was limited visibility, so I think we still stand by that. It's a high-risk proposition to fully inspect that. I don't know you'll necessarily get clear, so I don't know what the resolution is. I'm not a scuba guy. What the final
You can
resolution
review
is.
this, I think there's a website of this, company, it's LSAOPS.com. He offers a few services. If you look under portfolio and water services, you can see some video there. You can, so you can kind of see what they expect. I've already talked to the gentleman. He took a quick look at the site, and I passed on some of the drawings. And he said it's something that he would be more willing to do.
Did you hear what Peter said about the video that we've already, the engineers have looked at already?
No, I did not. I couldn't hear him.
Yeah, so we've already done this. We've had video of the canal that the Canal Corp had taken and shared with the engineers. This is probably back in January, December, Peter, or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they had it back.
It was a long time ago, but anyway. So they've already looked at the video of it. Now I don't know if it's the same.
Is this video via a drone or video via the divers?
This was a remote unit, whether or not it was I don't know if it's called a drone or not, it was a remote unit.
Remote unit, so
It was on a-
call it a drone or whoever, but not the divers.
This was tethered to a cable, so they could pull it back, basically.
I'm going to second the motion to do this. I mean, a second opinion with a drone is a good idea.
Well, we don't have a motion yet, so we have a motion on the table to, we have, hang on, we have a motion on the table to accept option 2 of the options available for Berry Street. So we're in the discussion part of that. So I suggest if you're not in favor of that, then you vote no on option, or my motion, okay? Any further discussion?
Well, I would like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we table that motion until we get an inspection.
Second.
Motion on the table a motion on the floor to table my motion, seconded by Dave DeLeas. This legal?
You can make a motion to table at any time.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion to table the motion on the floor?
I'm going to go with Steve and Dave, I think. I just think it's worth it to get the answers.
All in favor of the motion to table my motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? I opposed. Opposed? So that's, the motion to table is carried 3-2. And now, Dave, you want to make, or Steve, you want to make a motion to, whatever?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we contract with Laptop's company to do a ROV inspection of the culvert for a cost not to exceed $1,200.
Second.
Second by Dave DeLeas. Discussion.
I I hate to ask, but can we just do that in keeping with the fact that we just passed the procurement policy? Or do we have to go out and seek bids?
How
Is that-
much was
is that-
the amount?
Oh, that's the same 1,200.
1,200.
So it meets the
Okay.
threshold.
Well, it would be nice to get something on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as soon as the motion's either passed or failed, then I'll add my 2 cents.
He's gonna have to put us in.
I mean, requirements and so forth, not my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Me.
Nay.
2 nays?
2 nays. That motion's carried 3-2. So Steve, would you please give your contact person my information and have them either I would prefer you give him my phone number so we can meet up and I'll tell him what he has to give me as far as proposal and so forth, okay?
Okay,
Do you have my phone number?
I can get it if I don't.
You mean I'm not in your contacts? I can't believe it. You're in mine? Anyway, let me know if...
Sure I am.
All right, let me know if you need my phone number. Okay. All right. Peter, we're on hold.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay. I had that right in my hand. What did I do with it?
Just
There.
turn it around.
Okay, I'd like to make a resolution establishing energy benchmarking requirements for certain municipal buildings. Whereas, I'm not going to read it all. Building energy benchmarking policy is a resolution for us to get started. It's buildings are the single largest user of energy in the state of New York. The poorest performing buildings typically use several times the energy of the highest performing buildings. Whereas collecting, reporting, and sharing information will help municipal officials make better decisions. Now, therefore, be it resolved and determined that the following specific policies and procedures are hereby adopted. Benchmark information shall mean information generated by a portfolio manager is here defined, including descriptive information about the physical building and its operational characteristics. Building energy benchmarking shall mean the process of measuring a building's energy use, tracking the use over time, and comparing performance to similar buildings. Commissioner shall mean the head of the department. Covered municipal building shall mean building or facility that's owned or occupied by the town that is 1,000 square feet or larger in size. Department shall mean the department selected to enforce the benchmarking policy. Can I have a second for this resolution, please?
Second.
Second, thank you. So, this is something that MRV and Emily and I have been working on, and mostly her. It's basically the process to start us collecting data to determine how much energy we're using, and then therefore putting us in a position for some grants. Emily, you still with us, or are you in bed?
Oh, I'm here.
Emily, could you probably do a better job of explaining that than I did, but I want the Reader's Digest version, Emily.
You got it.
All right, buddy.
NYSERDA has a program called Clean Energy Communities that came out a few years ago and allows communities to apply for funding towards clean energy initiatives. How you qualify for this funding, you meet certain action items that they request. This benchmarking is one of the items that most communities start with. Just giving a snapshot of where the community is energy-wise so they can then identify where the savings are. So this is one of 4 high-impact items we're going to try to achieve over the next couple of months in order to get the town in the best position for funding, which is first come, first served. So you want to be in a good position, and this funding does not have ridiculous strings tied to it, so it's great funding that can be applied towards a variety of energy initiatives. So it's great funding to go after.
Thank you. So it's a matter of just starting to collect data. Emily has worked with Aaron Pastelacqua.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So they've had some phone conversations and so forth, because Aaron knows about all the buildings. Excuse me, I'll be working with the finance department to start putting down actually our energy costs and so forth, so this just starts the process, that's all. Okay? Questions or further discussion? All in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? No one opposed? Carried. Make a motion that we accept the January 2020 to December 31st, 2023 command agreement between the town of Seneca Falls and the Seneca Falls Police Command Staff Association. Can I have a second for that motion, please?
Second.
Second by David DeLeus. Discussion, as you know, in the calendar year 2019, the police command was opting to go to a union agreement, and that started, as I said, in 2019. And then we've been working on that. The personnel department, the personnel committee, Doug and Dave, met with the command unit on at least one occasion that I know of, and discussed different aspects of the contract. And then because of the pandemic and getting lawyers together, it's taken up until now to get a final draft or a final agreement in place. So that brings us to this resolution, or this motion. So discussion, any further discussion? With no further discussion, all in favor of the contract between the command unit, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried. We've already taken care of discussion not to open Vince's Park for remainder of 2020. Discussion, cancel summer programs and camps at community center. Again, I would like us to shut that aspect of down for the summer because of the virus. Schools are not opening this summer. It's just too difficult to control. It's just not safe based on what's happening. So I'd like to take a pause for one summer on summer programs. I'd like to leave open the option to come August. I've talked to Jim, talking about maybe some skill camps for kids. No contact, separation, scheduling them at different times of the day. Skill camps in lacrosse, maybe skill camps in basketball, and possibly soccer to help kids stay active and obviously work on those types of things. So, questions, thoughts, ideas?
I just think it's unfortunate, but I think we need to leave recreation to families to, you know, for us to move forward with organized programs is not right.
Okay. Bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
Allergies?
You can drink water.
Okay, so I make a motion that we do not offer any summer programs and camps through the community center for the 2020 summer, with the possibility of relooking in August about having some skill camps. Dave, second that. Any further discussion?
You might begin.
If you don't mind, I'd like to also, you and I spoke today, we are trying to work with the library, for maybe once or twice this summer, to maybe have some kind of a drive-in movie night, family night, where we come into maybe the back of the community center parking lot, or maybe over to Fairbury someplace, where we could have some kind of family evening where we could show a film. The library has licenses for movies, we just have to come up with a screen, and we're looking into that kind of a screen, with the lease there, rent it or buy one, depending on the cost and how easy it is to get one. We were thinking to do that this summer in People's Park, but then the virus obviously wiped the opportunity out, so we still like to try something like that. we'd like to have some kind of, almost with the family, some kind of program. So we are working on that as well. You know, I've got more information than exact funds, as long as the board feels comfortable with that, we will move forward.
Yeah, I think drive-in movie theaters are making a comeback, or not the theater, but drive-in parks are making a comeback. Yeah, so I think that's a great idea, and as I said, Jim, you know, we'll see how things go, and hopefully we do some skill camps, practicing good health measures and so forth in August, okay?
So we're looking forward to something together, hopefully we'll get some opportunities. I know that the governor did say today that, you know, he's going to be okay with day camps, but again, we have no idea what measures will be put in place. It'd be very difficult to put that together last minute, so I think, you know, I do, as much as I want to put together a program, I think we're wise to be careful with it.
Thank you. Okay, further discussion, all in favor of canceling summer programs and camps at the community center, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried. We have one of our water sewer operator trainees on furlough. Like to bring him back, type of thing with the summer and the increased work at water especially. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, unless somebody strongly opposed. I'd like to bring that one person that's been furloughed back to that water treatment plant for assistance, especially now during the summer and the lake warms up and have issues and so forth and so on. Any objection to that?
Motion?
I don't know if I need a motion for that? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approval to bring back water sewer operator trainee effective Monday, June 8th. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Doug Avery. Any discussion?
Who does that, not who does, but there, that still leaves some water and sewer employees on furlough?
That would be the, no, that would be all water and sewer are back.
Okay, so highway's back, water and sewer's back,
Correct.
and we're gonna talk.
Highway has, I believe, 2 out, but one is for medical. Jim, Peterson, you still here?
Yes, I am, Mike.
Jim, you're down 2 guys, right? One for something, and I forgot.
I've got one guy out and, he's out, we had an operation and I've got another guy going out in 2 weeks for another operation.
So both men,
So they're at full strength as well. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So, any further discussion? All in favor of bringing back the water sewer operator trainee, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried. I would like to make a motion to accept the NYCC reopening safety plan, written May 20th, 2020. Everyone received that in their packets.
There is a letter. I think you saw it already.
Everybody received that in their packets. Can I have a motion to, or a second on this motion, please?
It's a motion of support, right?
Yes, motion of support, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Second.
Second by Dawn. Discussion. This is a proposal to bring back or reopen the college for about 200 and plus students who are in their 3rd tri-semester, who have done everything they could possibly do through virtual learning. The last component is the clinical part, and without completing the clinical part, they can't graduate and become doctors, so forth, and chiropractic. So, even though there's other colleges and med school and dental school and so forth, this is kind of a unique situation because it's a small group of people, it's a very large campus, and they've come up with a pretty comprehensive plan on how they're going to reopen and so forth. So This is just a support on our part. Ultimately, the decision is with the governor. The Seneca County Board of Supervisors provided support for this resolution last week, and under the objection of our county health director, and as you probably received in your packet also, Vicki Swinehart, is opposed to this, and but the County Board of Supervisors respectively still had passed a motion for support. So, there's also, my guess is Louis DiLorenzo is on the line, and if you have any questions for him, he's representing the Chiropractic College. Louis, you there?
I am, Michael.
How are you tonight?
I'm here.
Welcome to Seneca Falls Town Board meeting. Glad to have you.
Congratulate all of you on how much business you get done in a short period of time.
Now, you just told me, the last thing I was going to do tonight was I know you're being sarcastic, so I know what, I'm going to bring up.
No, I'm not.
You're not?
I wish you guys would run our partners meetings. We could get out of there at some point.
Yeah, but all your attorneys have the little stopwatch going right now. How many hours the meeting last? Anyway, you guys.
Seriously, unbelievable.
Yeah. If you have any questions, go ahead, Lou. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I thank you all for just taking the time to consider this, and if you got any questions, I'll be glad to answer. I can assure you that without the governor, whether you approve it or not, without the governor's office making an exception for the school, which we think we have a chance based on all the exceptional circumstances, although Ms. Swinehart was against it, she noted that it was an excellent plan. Her only objections were that the governor has put on-site education in the fourth state, and it's not timed yet according to the governor's plan, but we understand that, and we're prepared to live with that. If we don't get the exception, we're not going to open, but that's going to cause some incredible hardship. And the students, no question about it.
Any questions?
No, just again, trying to reconcile her letter with their plan, and her point that, Vicki Schweinehart's point that the college speaks of 50% occupancy. That's more than the 10 people that the governor says we can get to. So I didn't realize they're trying to get an exception.
Right.
But it's got to be tied to, regardless of what we do, it has to be tied to what the state
Right.
approves.
And again, if the local municipality, like the county board and the town board, are supportive of this, that goes a long way for, to the governor's team, that our community is supportive. I mean, the Chiropractic College has been a fantastic partner in Seneca Falls, a great asset for our community, and whatever we can do to make this happen, I'm 100% for it.
And Michael, in the nature of full disclosure, we've been working with Senator Hellman Gossett, and she was the one that asked us to consult with the local municipality and see how they felt about it. She's supportive, and she's prepared to support it if the municipality supports. I was in touch with them twice today, so they're waiting to hear what you say, and that was her desire.
Okay. Thank you, Lou. Any further discussion? All in favor of this resolution to support the Chiropractic College to reopen with the governor's approval, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? So carried. Lou, thank you for joining us. You're more than welcome to stick around if you'd like, but we'll understand if you sign off, all right?
Very good. Thank you, everyone, very much.
Have a-
Thank you for the contribution. Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
Have a great one.
Very well.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve listing the 115 Fall Street condo to Century 21 for the sake of selling the property. Can I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Discussion, again, I don't want to... Yes, I think, I think we agree we don't want to be in the real estate business. If we can have it listed and sold, I think that's our best option. We still have to get in there, I have to get in there with Town Clerk Greer and go through some documents and so forth and move those over to our records building over on 10 Fall Street. But this will give us the ability to list it. I don't think they're able to, they're in I think they come back on phase 3. So they may be able to list it, but they can't show it yet. And they come back in phase 3 to do that type of thing. Doug, Dave, do you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question. Sure. Any more than one?
It's not, there's no cost for them to list it. So no, we don't need more than one real estate agent to list it. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of allowing Century 21 to list 115 Fall Street, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye.
So carried. We have a resolution. Come on, Mike, get your finger working here. That's not the right resolution. There's the right in my hand. Resolution from the Town Highways Department. Whereas the Highway Department would like to surplus the following items: 2008 International 6-wheel dump truck, 2011 Chevy pickup box 2, and 2014 225 grasshopper mowers. Whereas these items will be put on Auction International for sale, these items will be replaced with new ones and are no longer needed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Seneca Falls Town Board does hereby authorize the surplus of these items to be auctioned off through Auction International and the proceeds to be put back into account DA 5130.201. Could I have a second for that motion? Or resolution, I should say.
Second.
Second by Mr. DeLeas. Discussion. Anybody have any questions for Jim? I think he's still with us.
Any questions?
Okay. All in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye.
We have a Seneca Falls Police Department modification. On April 10, 2020, the Seneca Falls Police Department applied for the 2020 Local Community Grant through Walmart here in the town of Seneca Falls. This is a highly competitive program receiving more than 150,000 applications each year. Walmart's local community grants range from a minimum of $250 to a maximum of $5,000. On May 26, 2020, the police department received a letter from our local Seneca Falls Walmart stating that the police department has been awarded $1,500. I'm requesting the town board to approve a budget modification for equipment, line A3120.200 for $1,500. We intend to utilize this money to supplement additional department equipment in 2020. Can I have a second for this motion, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Avery. Chief Feenstra, are you still with us?
I am, Mike.
Okay, I think it says it all. Any sidebar you want to provide?
I'd just like to thank Lieutenant Snyder for completing the application on this grant and working directly with our local management at Walmart to successfully receive this grant.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 So carried. I make a motion to provide water and sewer credits to the following list of customers. I don't need to read the names, do I?
No.
The following list of customers that are requesting credit to their accounts according to the LEAP credit code 285-52 of the town of Seneca Falls. The total amount is $626.40. May I have a second for that motion, please?
Second.
Second by Don. Any discussion? All in favor of providing the tax credits for the water and sewer, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody's opposed, so carried. Okay, I just, before we go or vote on the executive session, which I don't think we need to, I just want to remind our town residents that we have difficult times here, and please try to follow the guidelines. Please wear your mask in public. Please keep washing your hands, and please practicing the social distancing. We'll get through this as we get closer to phase 4. Be patient. I'd also like to thank our 3 boards, the zoning board, the planning board, and the HPC, working under some pretty difficult conditions with virtual meetings and taking public input and so forth. We have one major project that they're spending a lot of time on, and that's the Home Leasing's approval of their plan for the Huntington building. And a lot of difficult late nights are going through there, and we're still working on that for the different boards. So hopefully as we get through June, we can come back with public input and public meetings. I'm hoping that happens. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and maybe again move out of here to the community center so things can be spread out even more. I'd also like your approval to reopen the town offices on June 8th, which is Monday. We've been closed, as you know, since mid-March. We still are maintaining our 50% employees as much as possible, but I'd like to open the building up for the public. We would be following all the necessary procedures. We would not allow people in the building without a mask. We would monitor, how many people were in the building at one time, so forth and so on. But this will allow our public to come in, have interaction with the town clerk's office for licensings and so forth, also dumpsters, also opportunity for them to meet with the assessor if they needed to. So a lot of different things. Again, we would be practicing all the necessary steps to maintain a safe environment. So any opposition of opening up June 8th for the public? Okay. Okay. That's it, huh?
Pay bills.
Okay. Pay the bills. Make a motion to pay the payment of the bills. Second. By Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fine.
Yeah.
You want to get into that change order
Or
more?
the change order.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yep. Just jump in anytime you want, buddy. Just don't hesitate. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for change order number 6, contract number 1A, general construction, file 097.080.003. Can I have a second for that change order?
Second.
Second. So Peter explained this a little bit, but again, Peter, this is a change order for the sewer relining project.
Correct.
Okay?
So it's a change order we've done, this is change order 6, all the changes we've done so far have been no cost. The project has WD loans, contract value is about just shy of $2.3 million. There's room in the overall authorized budget of $3.005 million to, there's some contingencies there. So when we went into this, we included a lot of additional inspection work that we've authorized. We've done about 14,000 linear feet of additional sewer inspection. We've completed review of that. We have additional recommendations on lining the project. The benefit, the reason we're pushing this is right now if the project finished today, we'd be significantly below budget. And what that means essentially is it's good to finish below budget, but we also have a 25% grant on the table too, as well as 0% hardship fund financing. We kind of look at this as you're doing the work for 75% of the cost. So we've got a change order for $80,000 above the current contract value for Malone. It would still bring the project in below that 3.005 million, and it provides some additional, about 4,000 additional linear feet of sewer lining, repaving of Johnson Street town. There's 3 components we have on there that would be included in that. The overall work that we're authorizing is significantly higher than $80,000, but we have additional items that won't be completed on the project, so we can do some shifts within the 35 different items we had in the project to kind of bring that number into $80,000.
Peter, when do you see the completion of this?
Well, we have a contract complete, good point, because the change order also includes an extension. The contract, Malone is pretty well wrapped up. They're pretty close to being wrapped up. Their contract expires on, well, the contract termination of June 15th, that's essentially notice the substantial completion date. With Green Mountain, who is their sub, they're doing the work. They've been delayed based on the COVID-19, so they've operated out of Vermont. They've done some work in town, but they've shared with us they've had limited crews to date, so we can get them booked. We're offering up, we're pretty much proposing a 30-day extension of the contract. So July 15th, the project would be wrapped up, basically. And just to note, this includes the additional work we did as Fall Street, so we have about 2,300 linear feet of Fall Street. As part of the project, we inspected the entire length of Fall Street. We've got about 2,300 feet that we're making recommendation to reline. A lot of the pipe on Fall Street was actually in pretty good shape. The further down you go, the closer you get to Ovid Street, the pipe's a little bit more susceptible, it's deeper, and it's a pretty significant trunk sewer for the town.
How confident are we, I mean, do you think more has to be done?
Oh, yeah. I've got a recommendation.
We got a phase 2?
We've got everything, we pretty much went through and prioritized. So we're pretty much providing what we think is the most significant lines. Once we're done, we can, now we can look at moving forward. We've got another probably 6,000 feet of pipe that we've inspected that we think needs to be lined eventually. It's not necessarily a high priority, they're lower priorities. And certainly there's work, we haven't done every pipe in the town. We've hit, based on initial investigation, where we've identified the most significant leaks on that end. So ultimately, moving forward, there's an ongoing O&M. I would love to see so many manholes rehabbed a year and so many linear feet of pipe relined a year to kind of get, a 10-year window to kind of get everything back to speed. So these are, what's in here is, we look at it as a good opportunity because it's cost effective to do it now, as opposed to paying a contractor to come back and do it. We're essentially paying 75% of the grant, and we're paying a bid that was done in 2019. So they've held their numbers through the, essentially a year after bidding the project. So.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of the, any more discussion? I'm sorry, any further discussion? All in favor of the change order, please say aye.
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 No one opposed? So carried. Have a motion to adjourn.
Did we pay the bills?
We paid the bills. You voted no. You voted no. Have a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, general public watching. Hopefully you have a good evening, and hopefully we can move forward from this type of broadcast. Department heads, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, John boy. Wake up, Stu.